Right? No, never gets old, huh? So,
I don't know what to do with it. I don't know.
just take it in.
It's
take
amazing.
It in. So,
Thank you.
What you been up to?
I've been making, some Star Wars stuff.
I mean, we always joke that you're the busiest man in Lucasfilm, but what's it like being the busiest man in Lucasfilm? You are constantly cranking out beautiful stories, making the fans so happy. I mean, talk to us a bit about, what your life has been like these past few years.
It's been very busy, but honestly, I love what I do, and I work with great people. The combination of those two things, when you can get it in life, is so wonderful. Whether it's working with the animation team on Bad Batch and Tales of the Jedi, whether it's working with John on Mandalorian, or just continuing Ahsoka's story, which I've been doing now for 18 years, which is super fun. But the most amazing part, it's you don't do any of this alone. I work with so many people, a lot of times globally, and they're all just as committed. And the weirdest part now is that on the crew working on Ahsoka, there are a lot of younger crew people that grew up watching Clone Wars.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
And Rebels. So and Rebels. So for them, right? So, right, okay, well, I'm very busy. But when Natasha comes out, as Sabine, or Rosario walks on set as Ahsoka, the whole crew there is they just stare at them. I'm we have to work now. But
it's
it
so
is
hard.
magic. And I love that the people working on this field just like you guys do. And there are probably some hidden within here too as well. So, you should thank them as well. Never think about what I do without thinking of all the people that help make it great, which is that team. So
I mean, and even my first days, when we first met and seeing how Lucasfilm Animation worked together and how tight of a team that was always really magical to see. Just that teamwork there and the camaraderie is something that's really special, and I think it translates really well to the stories. You can feel the love in them. So what are some of the things that have surprised you between the differences between directing animation versus live action?
Yeah, there's a lot of similar. I have to say that George prepared me really well for what I'm doing now, whether he intended to or not. George is a live action director. And so a lot of the tools that we were developing on Clone Wars, our previous system, and the way to tell stories were tools that were being developed to feed future live action things that he wanted to do. Mm-hmm. So he taught me just the language of cinema. He taught me editing. He taught me all of these ways to tell a story, and specifically Star Wars, that when I met with John and we talked about how we could make a show like The Mandalorian as quick as we did for a streaming service with very fast turnaround, a lot of the digital technology like John had used on Lion King and Jungle Book were very familiar to me because George was already working with things like that. There was a similar language. So for me, the jump was very consistent, but I have to tell you that the biggest difference, and Kathy and I have talked about that, is that when you set the stage and here you are, I'm thinking of reference points, none of which I can relate to you right now. They're all locations and sets and places that you'll really like, but not right now. And but when we see these places, and then the characters walk on set, and we line up the shots, and so many people are contributing to capture this one moment. And the difference is the moment is going to happen. And that's the moment. There are things we've already shot on Ahsoka that I think about, wow, I'd been thinking of that scene for 5 years, and now it's done. We shot it, right? Right. However, unlike animation, where there are lots of things that I'll shoot and then I'll have several months, we'll do other episodes, I'll look at other things, I go back and change it. So I can change posture, expression, attitude, background, color, all kinds of things, even costume, all kinds of things in animation before it goes out. In live action, that is it. It is concrete in the day, and you're capturing the moment. But that is what I find is so precious about it and wonderful, because it's alive and it's real and it's right there. So I've always said that what's interesting is when Rosario appears on set, she's Ahsoka. Like, coming in the door, that's who I see. I don't really see her a lot, because Rosario gets there early in the morning before I'm on the lot, because she has to get ready for her day. And then by the time she leaves, I'm doing other stuff. I don't see her. So I see Rosario Dawson a few times in the shoot, but I see Ahsoka Tano every day. It's very bizarre. But it's awesome. And she's just present like that. And that's what you need.
And it's not just Ahsoka anymore. I mean, you're bringing characters from books and video games and toys back into live action, into these different mediums. How do you approach bringing things back from the past, like Cobb Vanth or Chrysanthemum?
Yeah, that's interesting. Like, the one thing that you see, you look around this convention, you see so many wonderful ideas and characters and just across Star Wars. And, growing up with Star Wars and seeing all the expanded universe novels and books over the years, and, whether it came from George or not, it was part of the community of Star Wars filling in the gaps, and all of us saying, but we like this, and things like Tim Zahn's Heir to the Empire were critical for all of us, just as an adventure and as a story. And we're like, wow, this is it. This is more. And so we're very careful, whether it's animation, live action, about what characters we bring in. I think it's important that they're, treated with respect, so they can be very similar, if not the same character. Sometimes in the switch of medium, it changes a little bit, the perspective on it. But we like to stay faithful, or I'll be the first one to say, well, let's not use that character. It's changing too much. Yeah. So it's a considered thing for sure, and we're careful with it.
Yeah, and you want to avoid that whole like, hey, look, remember this thing you like? Here it is.
Yeah, here it is. That sound completely different. Yeah, it doesn't. It's like when Natasha had to walk out on stage yesterday, and I want you all to go like, that's Sabine, and I think that.
I mean, that's when I first saw her, I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's excellent casting.
And we really wanted her, John and I, we really wanted her to come to this. And we want to introduce her to all the fans, because the reason we get to put her up, on screen is because of fans, their support of those stories, those characters, the great work Tia Sakara did, bringing the characters to life in animation. All of those things have added up to where we are today. And like, make no mistake, like the voice acting talent that I've worked with over the years, they're so important to everything I've done. And even though I've changed mediums, like I think of them all the time, what they're about, their contribution. They're part of this great journey that this character is making and transcending. And, if you didn't see the teaser yesterday that I showed for Ahsoka, I can tell you I was texting with Vanessa Marshall last night, and no one was more excited than her, which was so exciting to hear just her being excited about that happening, So
and we're all very excited.
They're awesome. I work with awesome people. What can you do?
Yeah. Same topic of bringing characters back. You've got Ahsoka, you've got Hera, Sabine, Chopper in live action. I mean, our little murder droid.
That surprises me. He gets such a big cheer.
Yeah,
it's so funny, Chopper.
Oh, I love him. I mean, what is it like bringing those characters forward and continuing their stories in these new ways?
It's great. It's emotional. It's for people like myself, Carrie Beck, who are there working on it every day and worked on Rebels every moment, to the animation team. When I talk to them, I'm like, you guys won't believe what's on set right now. It's and they get all excited about that. It's awesome. They're the characters I know.
Yeah.
And it's the most honest thing that I can do is keep telling their story. And then I get excited when I see, what other people are doing. I talked to Deb about what she was doing on Obi-Wan, and we had a great time with that. And, Deb is awesome. I can't say enough good things about her. The minute that Kathy said that they wanted Deb to do Obi-Wan, I knew Obi-Wan was in great hands, and that's what you want to see is people that care about this, taking these characters on another adventure. So for me, the Rebels crew, they were a significant part of my Star Wars experience as a creative, and I love those characters.
Yeah.
So of course, I'm going to bring them back whenever I can,
You need...
Ezra.
there is one Rebels character that I would really love to see. I mean, she's not dead, so it's
Who's
possible,
that?
right? Goody is like out there somewhere, right?
That's a little personal bias, though, because I named that character after you. So that's
and she's
not
cool.
fair.
She's a pink alien.
That's not the Jedi way. That feels a little selfish.
I mean,
We'll
I
have to
haven't seen a
go
body,
over that.
so I'm certain the story could continue
Yeah.
at some point.
It'd have been nicer if you promoted somebody else's character, but you chose your own, Anakin. Why?
I saw a shot and I took it. Okay.
Well, that's what Anakin said too. It didn't work out so well. Yeah. Well.
All right, I got a little dark side in me. Whatever.
Everyone does, but got to find balance. So.
All right, Dave. Fine. We'll
okay.
deal with that later.
We'll work on it. It's a long journey.
It's been my dream to be like a background alien somewhere.
A background.
Like
you
put
can
me
walk through a
Put
shot.
me in
That's not a
prosthetics
problem.
And like
yeah.
the back, just like make me gross looking.
That's the other thing about live action. When I did animation, no one ever pitched themselves for background. No one's ever like, I would love to be a cartoon walking through, because no one ever said. Now that I do live action, people are like, here's my card. I'm like, what's this for? Maybe I could be a Trandoshan. I'm like, that's an interesting request. That is very specific.
I'm just saying, if you ever need like, a kind of short girl, just give me a call. All right, anywho.
You never know.
Moving along. What can you tell us about Tales of the Jedi?
Super fun. Just a little, passion project to tell some short stories. Just came about out of the blue. Carrie Beck and Athena Portillo, they really liked these stories. I was writing these little shorts on the airplane, and when I was traveling, and they were the only ones I let read them. And when they were reading them, they're like, "Oh, I really like these. Would you want to make these?" And I thought, "Sure, yeah. I mean, why not? I'm not busy." So they found the resources and the people, and it was a great chance for me to connect with the animation team again, and to work with Ashley, Matt, James a tiny bit again, and because we have such a long relationship together, so it was fun. It made me nostalgic for those times, and they're just interesting little shorts that tell the journey of two characters in brief little bites, throughout their lives. So I'm excited for you guys to see them.
Fabulous and super cool.
Yeah,
So you spent some time talking about Bad Batch this morning. I'd love to, Do we have some? Do y'all like the Clone Wars? So how early in the process do you decide to put a character like Fennec Shand from The Mandalorian into Bad
Fennec?
Batch?
Yeah. Well, Ming Na's from Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
So
I know you guys are.
I love
homies.
that because she and I went to the same high school, which is hard to believe. Yeah, I know. And because what are the chances of that? But she is a super fan.
Yeah, she's hardcore.
I'm so sad that she can't be here this weekend. But she would love it. She'd love all of you. I'm sure she'll be at the next one that we do. And but yeah, just talking to her, and Ming has an animation experience because she's kind of a big deal in that world too.
Yeah.
Ming's a big deal in every world.
Yeah.
And I was like, "You want to be in Bad Batch?" And she's like, "I would love to be in Bad Batch." So.
Does anyone ever say no? I
don't know.
Filoni calls always like, "Hey, you want to be in this thing?" Someone's like, "Nah."
I don't know.
good."
I don't ask many people though. But she wanted to do it. Brad and Jen loved the idea, and I like doing that. I like jumping back and forward and figuring out little bits of characters' past and history. I thought it'd be neat to have her encounter Cad Bane because we love Cad Bane, and that we would see that some of her philosophy she got from these other bounty hunters when she was younger. So it's just fun. It's like having an ultimate toy box and you pull out Fennec and you say, "You're going on an adventure today." So it's the best way to do it.
So you and Jon Favreau have had quite a run working together. How do you approach Star Wars together to push it into this new and exciting territory?
I don't know. There's no grand philosophy of it. We just like Star Wars, and we have a whiteboard, and I sit there and we just start saying, maybe we do this and maybe we do this, and we start throwing ideas out. It has to start with things you're invested in a story you want to tell. Then you start to figure out what the right elements are. And I'm always working on this massive architecture that goes over all of it, not just for Ahsoka, but everything else that will affect, you know, and we try to line it up as best we can and go from there. But, you know, it's a fun process, you know, to be asked, and a tremendous responsibility to do anything with these characters. And so sometimes when it's our characters that we've created, it's a lot easier. You still give it the same attention, but like when it's Luke, it's a lot more intense because that's a character that's iconic the world over. Luke is a character that's responsible, and so without Luke, where are we?
Right.
There's nothing, and it's one of George's characters, and you have to take care of those characters, to be very careful about everything they say and everything they do. That's why it was so important to have Mark there, to include him in the process, you know, to make sure that that's authentic to what we're doing. And when I was directing, you know, whether he was in there or, you know, Graham, our Mark called him the lookalike. Mark was right next to me the whole time too, because, you know, we were sharing insights, you know, from my conversations with George and his experience as Luke Skywalker, so that we could make that as authentic for people as possible. And I think we achieved our goal, and Grogu was well trained by the great Luke Skywalker. So.
Little baby. Thank you so much, Dave. I honestly, this is my favorite part of Celebration, honestly, sitting and talking to Dave, because I never get to do this. I wish I could sit up here and talk with you for the rest of the day, but we're running out of time, guys.
Oh, we're running out of time.
Yeah, I'm getting the sign in my
you know,
ear
we
that
didn't
I have to
cover,
wrap it up.
We didn't cover where Ezra is or any of that stuff and all of that.
I know,
Like,
we were just getting to the prawn and all.
You want to know where he is? I'll tell you where he is. He's far, far away. Far, far away.
Give it up, guys, one more time for Dave Filoni. And we'll be back with more from Star Wars Celebration Live in just a minute.